Good afternoon, everybody. Aztecs are coming off two really hard-fought road victories that I think a lot of people probably thought we wouldn't get. We ended Arizona's 22-game home winning streak shortly after before Thanksgiving, and played extremely well in doing so. We played ahead the whole game, which is a nice thing to do on the road. Went on a tremendous spurt in the first half. Held on to a 2-point lead at halftime and then stretched it out again the second half, and were able to hold on despite some erratic free throw shooting to steal a road victory. We followed that up with a quick turnaround. We flew back Thanksgiving morning and then left Friday for Santa Barbara, where we were able to battle an undefeated Santa Barbara team to a victory. That game was played a little differently in the fact where we got ahead, lost the lead, and had to come from behind late in the game. Jamaal Franklin did an excellent job. We went small the last 5 minutes of the game with Jamaal playing the power forward, and he did an outstanding job down the stretch for us to help us secure that victory in overtime. And now we are back to the friendly confines of Viejas Arena, playing two ranked teams this week. Creighton is a very good team. Greg McDermott is an excellent head coach. And he has the benefit of having his son on the team, who was a first-team Missouri Valley Player of the Year, Doug McDermott. They score a lot of points. They're averaging 90 points a game while only giving up 65 defensively. So it's a great challenge that we look forward to. We're happy to have them at home. Our home court advantage has been as fine as any in the country. And I know tickets are at a premium right now. We're excited to get back in front of our home fans and play a ranked team to obviously continue to earn the respect of the country. Our team is very confident right now, and they're playing confident. They believe they're going to win every game they play in. We've played ahead, we've played from behind, and we found a way to win ball games. And hopefully we will continue to do that on our home floor. With that, I will take any questions.
Josh, you mentioned confidence, and with all this character testing early on in the season, what else has it shown you about this team, especially with more tough games on the schedule to come this week?
Well, coming into the year, we knew we were going to have very good guard play, which we've had. And when you have good guard play, you can stay in every game. And with Chase Tapley and James Rahan returning, Jamaal Franklin returning, and the addition of Xavier Thames, it's given us solid backcourt play. LeBradford Franklin's come off the bench. And so we're not throwing freshmen out there into the fire. We've got veteran guards that can manage the game, that can keep us in the game. And our bigs can continue to develop. Tim Shelton has been great. I know coaches commented that what he does not show up on a stat sheet. That's a little bit of a coaching cliche. But when you take 11 charges in 2 games, that's an incredible thing. And as big as charges are in offensive fouls, drawing those, there's no stat for it in the box score at the end. There's no, he took 6 charges. And that just sways the course of a game. The block shot is more exciting, but the charge is more valuable because you put a foul on a good player and you get the ball back. Sometimes a block shot is exciting for the fans, but a charge is much more valuable to a team. And Tim Shelton's done that for it. Garrett Green and Deshaun Stevens continue to get better. And that's a real key to our season, that their improvement continues to move along in the manner it's moving. Right now they're better defensively than they are offensively for us. But as they continue to grow their offensive games, we'll become a much more dangerous team.
Ryan, are you surprised with 2 road victories you guys haven't ranked in the top 25 yet?
No, not really. I mean, the rankings are great for the fans. As coaches, we're obviously more concerned with the level of our play. And we've been fortunate to win some of these games. We've made mistakes that we teach to every day in practice. We come back and watch film of ourselves and point out 8 to 10 plays that could have cost us a victory. So we're less concerned with the rankings and more concerned, obviously, with how we play. The rankings take care of themselves. If we're able to maintain serve at home this week and beat 2 ranked teams, obviously we'll garner more national attention.
Ryan, if you went back to the preseason before the season had started, did you think you would only have 1 loss at this point of the year? Or looking at the schedule and the teams that you've played in the last week or 2, were you thinking, I don't know, well, just 1 loss at this point of the season?
As coaches, you know we're always nervous looking at the schedule. And to look at this stretch that we've had, playing at Arizona, at Baylor, at Santa Barbara, and then home games with USC and Long Beach. Long Beach, yeah, exactly. Long Beach, who we knew was competitive. We were very concerned. But as you start winning them, you start building momentum. I mean, athletics is a game of momentum. And as we continue to win one, win the next one, win the next one, we've built some positive momentum, and now we're very confident. You know, obviously, we had 2 overtime games that could have gone either way. So, you know, all of you have covered athletics long enough to know that once you're on a roll, you do anything you can to continue that roll, and we're on one right now.
You made reference to the charge statistic that you keep that obviously doesn't show up in the box score. Can you give us some context as to how unusual that is? Because that seems like a very big number.
Absolutely. I mean, I've never seen anybody take as many in 2 games as Tim took. And Darren, what is the exact number? Was it 11? Do you know that, or was it 10? 10. 10 charges in 2 games. And just the fact that the refs are willing to call those means that Tim is being really solid with his play. Because a block charge call, as a coach, you look at that and you go, that's usually a 50-50 call. Whether he's there or not and takes it, it's the officials have a lot of discretion in that, and they can say, well, you were moving, you weren't set, you were near the box, the new restraining line. And for Tim to get 10 calls and half of those on the road is speaking to his level of play right now. And for a guy that's taken a beating with his body over the years, for him to continually throw it out there and take that kind of punishment is a good example to the rest of us. And Jamaal took one in the last game that we as a coaching staff thought he did a great job on that he didn't get the call. So it can be frustrating at times, too, where you put your body out there, you take full contact, someone coming full speed to the basket, and you don't get the call. It can be frustrating. But I think Tim has set the tone for us. Jamaal, I know, has tried to take 2 or 3. I think he took one in the Arizona game, and that he throws himself out there. And once that tone is set, you know, and it's a big difference from last year. Last year we had Billy and Malcolm and Carwell blocking shots. And we don't have great shot blockers this year. And so we can't expose our defense saying, well, we don't have shot blockers, come to the basket on us. Now when people watch tape on the Aztecs, they say, well, you can drive, but you have to be careful. You can't go in there recklessly, or they're going to step in front and take a charge. And that's something we do when we watch tape. So it's a huge statistic that often doesn't get the play it deserves by the media.
Is it fair to say that taking 2 charges in a game would be pretty unusual or rare?
2 would be a high number, in my opinion. And when we play teams and we know they're shot blockers, we say go in as hard as you can. You know, go to the body, try to draw contact. But when people are driving in against guys that take charges, you know, they're playing on eggshells. You know, they're a little bit nervous about coming in that hard and putting themselves in foul trouble, and all of a sudden they catch themselves looking, is there a guy waiting for me? And so it changes the pace of the game, and it's been a real defensive stat that has helped us win games this year.
Jamaal, the coaches have talked about the schedule. For you as players, with this big stretch and all these big games, how do you just stay focused game in and game out and make sure you're on track?
Well, the coaches do a good job preparing us in every game with film. And one thing as a player, you just got to make sure you take care of your body and make sure you just stay focused and make sure hoop and school is only your main thing. Nothing is on your mind besides those 2.
What have you learned about this team through those close wins, through the overtime wins, heading into this big stretch?
That we're family. We do whatever it takes to win. We don't care who has the last shot. We don't care who's scoring all the points. We just want to win.
How's the match treating you? Is it an issue at all?
The mask was an issue. The first game I got to wear against Arizona, but it didn't really bother me against Santa Barbara because I got able to practice with it probably about 3-4 times, and I played in the game with it. Against Arizona, that was the first time I ever wore the mask. That's when I first just got it. But the mask will be retired. I don't have to wear it no more, so I'm glad that's good.
What's worse, taking the charge in practice or in the game?
I don't have to say practice because that's where I broke my nose at, where I got fractured in practice. So I'm going to say practice. And then game is a little bit easier because you know for sure that person is not going to do it again. They're going to hesitate about taking charge. Practice, you can't really foul out. You just keep doing it. So I'm going to say practice.
Does it still hurt?
No, not at all. It doesn't hurt at all. But I haven't got hit in it real hard, so I won't know until that actually happens if it really hurts still.
Is there a danger that it might, re-injure even without the mask?
I hope not. The doc said it couldn't be, but if it do, I mean, that's what we have doctors for, to take care of it.
Jamaal, can you tell me what you like and dislike about coming off the bench?
I mean, no player likes coming off the bench, but I don't have a problem coming off the bench because I feel that's my role on the team. And like I said, I'm willing to do whatever it takes for us to win. My role is to come off the bench and be a spark and let James, Chase, and X take over the guard spot starting the game off. So I don't really have a problem with coming off the bench, really. I mean, I like coming off the bench because it also gives me an opportunity to see how the game flow and how the defense is and how to guard the opposite team that we're playing against. So I would have to say I like coming off the bench more than I dislike it.
Now, this team has had a lot of success in overtime games. What does that tell you about the team? Why so much success there?
That's again coming from that we all just want to win. I mean, we had 2 overtime games. A lot of people don't win 2 overtime games. I mean, I really wouldn't like to be in overtime games. It's scary, but we stick together in overtime. A lot of teams crumble that we played in overtime, so that's one thing that I like about us. We stick together through thick and thin.
Ryan, same question. Your thoughts about what does it tell about the team that they win so many overtime games?
I just think it's great having Steve Fisher as the head coach. I mean, you've got a guy that's been through 1,000 games, and he doesn't overreact to things. He keeps the team focused, and it's not where did the lead go, how did we get to overtime. It's all about just the next play. And he's a great leader into overtimes, and he has the experience that he's a calming influence on the bench. And when we go into the overtime, it's just another 5 minutes. We're not overreacting to the fact we've lost a lead or we've had a chance to win in regulation. We're just solely focused on the next task, which is the overtime.
Ryan, as the head coach in waiting, what is your outlook about the possibility of conference realignment and what it means to this program?
I think the one thing we're all certain of in college athletics is there's going to be change. And there's been a lot of change over the last couple of months and years. But even if we remain in the Mountain West Conference, it's not going to be the same conference that we're in now. Over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of change, losing BYU, losing Utah, adding Boise this year, adding Fresno and Nevada next year. There's just a lot of change. Or if we go to another conference, it's going to be a new environment. And it's just the nature of college athletics. But we'll leave that in the able hands of President Hirschman and Director of Athletics Jim Sturk to make the right decisions for SDSU and our athletic program. And the program's on solid foundation right now. I mean, with football having the success they've enjoyed, men's basketball, women's basketball, all their other sports, is that wherever we end up, we'll be an asset to the conference we join or stay in.
Do you have any input in that process about where you might end up?
I'm sure Coach Fisher has had talks with Jim and the president, and what those are, I'm not privileged to. And I think whatever decisions are made will be made in the best interest of our university.
Jamaal, Coach talked a little bit about the rankings. Do you consider yourselves underdogs in a sense when you look at the rankings like that and the teams that have been lined up and you've beaten and ones to come?
I don't consider us underdogs. I just consider us that we just need to get a little more respect. We need to prove a point. We need tougher more games. We need to win tougher more games. I mean, because when you look in the top 25, there's a lot of good teams that's in there. I mean, the rankings go hand to hand every day. I mean, we probably would have been ranked, but a lot of teams dropped. A lot of teams beat good teams like UNLV. They beat #1 North Carolina. So, I mean, rankings is pretty much just for the fans, like as Dutch said, but we just got to keep winning and everything will play a part because once you get to NCAA tournament, the rankings really doesn't mean that really much.
That's just one sort of follow-up question on the charging fouls and things. Don't you kind of like to look down at the bench at the other end of the floor after a charge has been taken by your guys and watch the coach go a little crazy?
Yeah, it's frustrating for the other coach, obviously. He doesn't want the call to go against him. So it's a momentum changer. I mean, it's a momentum changer in a game, and we've been fortunate to get the calls. Although we didn't get one at Santa Barbara. We took 2 or 3, and the calls went against us. But, the hard thing with the charges is in practice is we don't encourage them to take that many because obviously you start falling in the lane in traffic and you're falling into teammates. And so sometimes we tell them, hey, just catch the guy. No, you could have taken it. And there's a fine line to playing full out like that in practice where bodies are falling into legs in the lane. And so we have an ability to take a couple in practice, but not to the degree. Tim doesn't take them, obviously, to the degree he tries to take them in the games because of just the nature of falling into legs. You're always worried about falling into someone's ankle, falling into someone's knee. So we take it a lot less in practice, but we have the ability to turn that switch and say it's game time, we're going to throw our bodies out there and put ourselves in that position.
Seems like the refs are being schooled on this pretty well, and they're calling it right.
They've been given a little bit easier time with the new restraining line. You have to be outside the arc in order to take a charge. You can't take them under the basket anymore. And that was always a hard thing. You know, coaches would be very frustrated when a player would make a layup and the guy would take a charge. He'd be standing directly under the rim. And so even he was in a legal position, it didn't seem like it was very fair. So I think they've made it a lot more fair by moving that restraining circle out away from the basket where you legitimately have to get your position early in order to take one.